Guys, what's going on? Welcome to Cereal at Midnight. My name is Heath. It is the festive season, and I'm talking to the most festive person I know, Lisa Downs. How are you?
I am so festive, I can hardly contain it.
You are the Christmassiest person I have ever met. You love Christmas. So you're the perfect choice for this conversation. But I don't know, we're talking about Christmas movies that aren't necessarily Christmas movies, right?
Well, that's it. And I think, and I'm not going to dwell on Die Hard because that's very controversial.
I'm
But I,
triggered.
but, but I think what I love about Christmas is that I think everyone has their own Christmas movies that aren't Christmas movies for whatever reason. Like you always watch them at Christmas, or they happen to be on TV every Christmas. And I don't know why they get programmed, but they do. So we thought it would be fun to do slightly different and talk about our non-Christmassy Christmas movies.
Yeah, and there's so much debate. This is not intended to start a debate. This is not supposed to be a hot take or anything like that. Christmas movies are whatever you want them to be. For me, I'm steering away from movies that have blatant Christmas themes, movies that take place at Christmas and have to do with, learning about yourself and becoming a better person and embracing family. I'm really trying to steer away from, like traditional Christmas movies here and things that were not really intended to be Christmas movies, I don't think, but that I find Christmas associations within. So like, here's an example. Okay. For me, the first movie that I thought of when we started talking about this was Hook. Robin Williams and Dustin Hoffman. That movie came out in December. It's not really a Christmas movie, but I always associate it with the Christmas time season because, and I even remember like for Christmas that year, I got all the Hook action figures and I think I had the poster on my wall. And so it's just something that I always associate with Christmas. I don't think Christmas is really a part of that movie. I know maybe it is. They go to, so like they go to London, I guess. But I don't, do you remember if it's about Christmas? I don't think that Christmas is really what it's about. They're just there to
No, but
windy.
I mean, is London like wintry in Hook? I haven't seen it for so long.
It is. Yeah, it is. And it may take place. London is always wintry in my mind.
I
There's
know
always
it
a
is.
fresh bed of snow.
It is. But that's interesting that you say you consider it Christmassy because it came out in December, because obviously that would make sense of why it feels like a Christmas movie. And then my counter to that, for the exact same reason that I never even thought of, is Flash Gordon. And I know, Lisa, stop talking about Flash Gordon. But
No, talk more about Flash. Where could we see what you think about Flash Gordon?
Life after Flash. No, so Flash Gordon, even though it was released before I was born, but it was released in December. So in England, because it was mainly filmed in England, it really became a Christmas movie. And I'm going to talk for the whole country here. Your audience may disagree, but I feel like one of Britain's biggest Christmas films is Flash Gordon, or at least it was when I was growing up. It was always on at Christmas. Nothing to do with Christmas. There's a lot of red in it, a lot of green in it. But it was how I grew up thinking of Flash Gordon. So again, like I don't remember when I first saw it, but I just remember it being on every year and we would watch it at Christmas. And for me, Flash Gordon is one of the ultimate Christmas movies.
So we're tapping into how the time that you watch it really, I think, is the thing, because that's the next one for me too, is I wanted to talk about the original Lord of the Rings movies, like the Fellowship of the Ring and the Two Towers and the Return of the King. Those were December movies and they're deeply rooted in my Christmas movie traditions. Like, again, it's not just the movies themselves, it's also, I remember like so this was like 2001, 2002 and 2003, and we'd go see the movie here in the United States. It came out, I think, like December 19th or something like that. So I associate seeing those in the theater. It's Christmas break. The family's in town from all over the country or wherever. We go see the movie. We go to maybe the bookstore and we look at the making of the movie. Like, oh, look, look at the Weta Workshop special effects, the visual effects. And even the soundtrack, like listening to the soundtrack in the car with the family and everybody. So again, it's like the Lord of the Rings is not a Christmas movie, but I always associate it with Christmas. You know what I mean? Because December.
I just thought of another one to add to my ones that I choose to watch. So I have two that I always used to choose to watch at Christmas, and always associated with, we have these really good friends that we're still friends with now in Chester, where I grew up, and we would always go to their house for Christmas, and their mum made their house like it literally like Santa's grotto. You couldn't move for tinsel and lights, and I mean it was nuts. It was like the Griswold's house. And we would always sit and watch Labyrinth and High Spirits as our Christmas movies. So they were the two that we would choose to put on the VHS and watch every Christmas. So there are two more that I associate with Christmas, and I haven't seen High Spirits in years, and that's just the one I thought of. And so I'm really excited to go and find it.
Every time I think of Labyrinth, I think of David Bowie's trousers, and that's
Don't
like,
we all?
well, right. There's like Christmas tradition is the bulge, the Bowie bulge. So I don't know. That's interesting.
Well, my tradition was really wanting to look like Jennifer Connelly. Like I would wear the dress over the jeans, and I would like find white bits of tinsel and put them in my hair to try and be like I was in the ball scene at the end. And I think maybe she just reminded me of a snowflake. She felt Christmassy to me, and especially that ballroom scene.
Not in a bad way, not like she's such a snowflake, but like in a actually a
No.
literal sense.
Like literally it's like a snowflake.
That's just a blurb that's going to get pulled from this and passed around on social media. Write it down, says Jennifer Connelly is a snowflake.
But two more honorable mentions, being British, which seem to be a really big tradition here, is it's not a movie, it's the BBC Pride and Prejudice series from 95 with Colin Firth. And that is a very big thing that in my teen years or later became a tradition at Christmas, is everyone sits down with the mums and watches the BBC Pride and Prejudice, which is a big British thing here. And then I had asked Ash what his memory growing up was with a non-Christmas film. And he said The Great Escape was the biggest non-Christmas Christmas film in England when he was growing up. It was on religiously every year. I don't think it's on anymore, but it used to be back in the day. So I thought that was a fun fact.
Yeah, that's interesting. So much of this is centered around, TV broadcasts and, like making time for like TV broadcasts creating traditions. And so I wonder, like, why would they show The Great Escape at Christmas time?
I don't know. But it's also, again, like when you only had like 4 channels. So everyone has the same experience of really watching like the Saturday night movie or the Christmas movie, because everyone kind of watched the same thing. And now there's like 600 channels and more streaming platforms coming out. So, I guess growing up now, you would just love all the Netflix and the Apple TV Hallmark style Christmas movies that are so Christmassy. They just churn them out without.
Yeah, here they're doing it's like 40 new Hallmark movies or 40 new Christmas movies on one of the channels, like 40 new movies in the month of December. I'm like, that's too much, guys.
It's nuts. I did watch the Lindsay Lohan Falling for Christmas though on Netflix.
How was it?
It was so gloriously bad. I almost wanted to watch it again as soon as I finished. And I will probably watch it one more time this festive season. But clearly a Christmas film. But I think, yeah, it's interesting that I don't know. And I know we always have these conversations about how we grew up versus how kids would be growing up now, but where they would access their own non-Christmas films from, like YouTube or, Blu-rays or I don't know.
Yeah, I guess it's streaming. I was interested to hear because you and other people in Britain talk about the annual traditions, and I guess those are over now because it's just this streaming landscape where there's, thousands of channels all the time, YouTube and everything.
Yeah, I mean, we still have our kind of core channels, but there's just so many more. So I think the older generations still stick to those core channels because it's kind of what they grew up with and what they used to. And, it's quite hard sometimes and technically challenging to try and access all the streaming platforms. We only really have Netflix and Amazon because we have a button on our remote. So I think the older generations in England still have those core channels. So they may still watch them, but our satellite's broken. So we can't. But it's really nice when you have that kind of community feel of everyone has this same Christmas experience of this non-Christmas thing, which, in my case was Flash Gordon and in his case was The Great Escape. But
the last thing that I wanted to mention is it's probably controversial, but because it's not, so it's a movie that has Christmas in it, but it didn't come out at Christmas. So it's Batman Returns, which is, and I love Batman Returns because it's like Gotham in winter. but I believe it came out in the summer. It's another one of those. Die Hard is a summer movie. It came out in the summer. Gremlins is a summer movie. Once upon a time,
I always thought Gremlins was a Christmas movie. That I consider a Christmas movie. Is it not considered a Christmas movie?
It is now. These are the things that the internet has changed forever, I think, because back, before Twitter and social media, we weren't really, some people go, well, I was having these conversations, but I don't know, I was pretty ensconced in movie nerd fandom and stuff. We weren't having conversations about like, you can only watch Die Hard at Christmas time, things like that. Because I would say that these movies have Christmas in them, but Christmas does not inform the plot. Gremlins kind of does. But it's just so interesting to me that, not that long ago, a movie could have Christmas in it and just come out whenever, and it was okay. But I feel like now people be like, hey, that's not okay. You can't put that. There's a Christmas tree in this movie and it's July. Like, I feel like there's these weird rules that we put on things. Batman Returns is always fun for me because it's got this whole, I think it's the only Batman movie that we really get that sort of Tim Burton love of Christmas in Gotham City. I don't know. It's got this whole thing that I like. So I don't know. I like that movie. I like the vibe, but it's not about, really redemption. Although it does have interesting Christianity themes under the surface. If anybody wants to unpack that. Yeah.
Well, it's funny you say that because my local cinema has started to do their Christmas playlist. And I had mentioned that one to you before, the Cary Grant one. And I was like, why is Batman Returns popping up in December on my local cinema? And that explains it. So my local cinema think the Batman Returns is a Christmas film as well. And now I'll have to go and see it on the big screen.
Yeah, it's because it's got a Christmas tree in it. It takes like there's a lighting of the tree, which I guess is enough to but hey, I wish I could go see it in the theater. I want to go see Batman Returns on the big screen again. I saw it on the big screen the first time.
I'll have to go and see it and do a review for Cereal@Midnite exclusive.
Ooh, yeah. Well, so this is interesting for people. We can kick it to the audience. So what are some of your favorite Christmas movies? What are some movies that aren't necessarily Christmas movies that you like to watch at Christmas, or even that you just associate with Christmas? Let's talk about it in the comments below. And Lisa, what's going on with you? Any news? Any updates?
It's the same old coming out of the edit suite here, Heath.
Should I just cut from another episode and just plug it in right here?
Yeah, things are good. Things are still chugging along here at Life After Movies, but I'm very excited for Christmas. And then come January, I'll be able to say it'll be out this year. Yay! So deep in the edit, but things are good. So finished pretty much filming interviews, which we spoke last for our Halloween episode, I was out in Hollywood. But no, things are good. And I should be reinstating, starting up again the web show interviews on my YouTube channel early next year. So watch this space. Yeah, just keep on trucking. It's what I always do.
That's what you always do. And I will put links to all the stuff. I have all your contact and socials. What's going on with you in TikTok, or how are you, the great TikTok experiment? How are you finding it now?
I am not as active daily on it as I was, but it's slowly building. So if anyone's on TikTok, Life After Movies, I do find it fun as a way almost that I think some people use Instagram when they have a nostalgia based account to just, if I think of something fun that I used to love, like growing up, then I can just go back, and if I post it, I'll have it there as a record and I'll be able to remember it. So I think it'll be more useful when I have more of my own content to put out, but I'm enjoying it. It's interesting.
All right, well, go check it out, guys. Sign up for TikTok if you're not on TikTok. All the boomers and the Gen Xers out there, go head over to TikTok and check out Lisa's the Life After Movies TikTok. This has been great. This was fun, and it's one of those open topics that really invite conversation. So guys, be nice. Let's talk about. We don't want any gatekeeping. Nobody yell at anybody else that this is and is not.
We're
not the point
all friends, and everyone's opinion is brilliant.
That's right. It's what works for you. That's what we're asking. So let's continue that conversation. Lisa, thank you so much. This is always fun to talk to you.
Always. Thank you, and happy Christmas or happy holidays. I'm
gonna leave it there.